God doesn't separate you because He's punishing you. He separates you because He's preparing you. And if your life has suddenly started to feel lonelier, quieter, or strangely disconnected, that's your first sign He's pulling you away for something bigger. The people who used to understand you now seem distant. Conversations that once flowed feel forced, and the crowd you ran with no longer fits the calling rising inside of you. This is not rejection, it's redirection. And just like Jesus withdrew to lonely places to pray, Luke 5:16, God is pulling you into solitude so He can speak without the noise. You may feel misunderstood even by those in your church, in your family, and it's not because you've changed for the worse. It's because He's setting you apart for something their eyes can't yet see. And what feels like isolation is actually divine insulation. Another sign is the sudden collapse of what once felt stable. Jobs lost, relationships ending, plans falling through, and you're tempted to believe it's all falling apart. But this is God's way of shaking loose everything not rooted in His will, Hebrews 12:27. Because what's coming next can't be built on shaky ground. There's a secret heaviness in your spirit you can't explain, a restlessness that won't go away even when everything around you seems fine. And that's the Holy Spirit stirring the deeper waters of your calling. You can't get comfortable where you were because you're not meant to stay there. And just like Joseph had to be thrown into a pit before he could stand in a palace, your disruption is often the first stage of your destiny. The fourth sign is when God starts exposing hidden things in you, old wounds, bad habits, prideful thoughts you thought you dealt with long ago, because elevation requires purification, and you can't carry dead weight into a divine assignment. He's refining your character in the quiet, just like David was trained in the fields before he ever held a crown, and every unnoticed moment is shaping the strength you'll need to stand in public victory. And finally, God will begin to test your obedience in uncomfortable ways. He'll ask you to walk away from what's familiar, to give up things that make sense to everyone else, and to trust Him when there's no map, just a word. This is the Abraham moment, when you're told to go without knowing where, and your only confirmation is that He said it, Genesis 12:1. If you're experiencing these signs, don't resist the separation, because what feels like a breaking is actually a birthing. God doesn't pull you back to leave you behind. He does it to launch you forward with greater focus, deeper faith, and unshakable fire. You're not being forgotten, you're being formed. And if you can embrace the silence, the pruning, and the stripping away, you'll step into a purpose that makes every moment of separation worth it.